Hello and welcome back to Railroads Online, and for once I am not starting at the freight depot because I am over at the coal mine at the top of the valley, and I can look out down the valley this way, and I haven't been over there because if we look down the end of my track here, yes, I have a train over here, it's the track that goes up that way, and then the track goes and ends over here, because the route I decided to take to the coal mine involves, instead of going all the way down the valley on the right, it involves going around this way, through the left, to this little pass here that is up in the mountains. You may also notice that I have some teleporters at some locations down here, and that's because I've linked up the rest of the map. So, I have one of today's new trains. Well, I say new, it's not new to the game, but it's new to you if you haven't played the game before. This is the Heisler, and it's another gear train like the Shay. It's just bigger and has many tractive efforts, and I apparently can't get in. But I have it over here because it's quite steep going down the other side. But I just need to load this up with coal. I have loads of coal. Coal mine is a bit weird in that it takes rails, and it can store 60 of them, and it takes beams, and it takes 30, and it stores 30 of them. When it makes the coal, it takes one rail and 2 beams, and makes 10 coal, which means that the storage amounts should be the other way around. Oh, and coal is squares. It's a bit weird. Iron ore was circles, coal is squares. Anyway, we can just do the quick method, because why would I spend unnecessary amounts of time? And then we have to see if I left the engine with actually any fire in it. This one also has air brakes, which is cool. So there's a compressor on this one. This little slider at the edge here actually does something, and the air brake pressure is at 100. I just leave the compressor on. As far as I know, there's no downside in the game to just leaving the compressor on. There probably is something in real life that means that you shouldn't just do that, but in the game, it works. So I'll just load up all these, and then I can show you my wonderful, terrible route. I've loaded up the train, now we just have to go, and as you can see, we are accelerating fairly well while pulling 4 fully loaded coal cars up what is, I think, 2.5%. I think I built all of this side at 2.5%. As you can see, it is quite steep, and this thing doesn't have much issue with it because it is a very powerful engine. It is technically it's the second most powerful. There's also the Climax, which has like the same cost but weighs less and has more tractive effort, but it has the top speed of a snail. So I decided to get the Heisler instead because it also has more fuel space and stuff like that. So the track here just winds its way up this side of the mountain. We go around across this valley, across that, and over here a bit, and then we will go through this little mountain pass that you'll see in a second. There's some quite big bridges over here because I kind of needed to. I didn't want to curve all the way around inside there. I probably could have done that. May have resulted in less giant bridges with no support at the bottom of them. I have quite a few floaty bridges that I may some point fix, or I might not. We then come across another large bridge, and the gap that we're aiming for is actually just over here where my cursor is. If you're on a phone, have fun seeing where that is. It's over on the right side of my screen, but as you can see, the track is not going over there. The track goes over here, further to the right. And that's because I wanted to make sure that I was always sort of on the right end of the train. So what we actually do is we drive forwards up the hill, we stop on the bridge over there, and then I flick the switch and we reverse down the hill. Then of course when we're coming back up again, we drive forwards up the hill and then we'll reverse down this side. That way, the train is always pulling from the front and braking from the back, which should mean that we have less accidents. But as you can see, the air brakes on this are quite effective, and we can stop very fast if we just stick it in reverse. So I've used one of these bridges. I haven't really used them at all, but there's this different kind of wooden bridge which has a sort of way on one side, because I thought I always need to get out and walk down to the points, and I've never used it before, so I thought, hey, that'd be cool if I used it. So we have a different bridge, which is definitely not floating. Yeah, we just don't talk about the fact that most of the bridges float. The thing with this bridge is it has a walkway on this side, and on the other side it has even less. Normally, the other bridges it would have a few bits of wood, I guess. It would extend out a bit further, you can walk next to the train on this side. This one, yeah, no, the train is just hanging over the edge. It's a little bit scary. This is also a slightly wider than average train. But now it's time for the fun bit of the track. So we just reverse around a couple of tight corners up on the top of this little plateau, and then we go down the fun route. And this is the steepest bit of track that I have ever made, because while I knew I would be using a gear train to get up it, and if it was 1%, it would probably go round this entire valley like twice before it got to the bottom, and that would be tedious. So we're just going to stick on some brakes and go down the 4.5%. Yes, that's right. This entire thing goes down at 4.5%, and it takes it around the back and into the ironworks, because that's where you need to take your coal. So I just thought I'd make a direct route. And originally, when I built this, it went up here and it went straight across, and then went down and around here and connected in, like pointing this way. So you then have to go through some points over here. But I was like, why don't I just make it a bit steeper and come around and hit the back of the ironworks? So I did that, and this thing is capable of pulling up it. Well, one of the first things I did with it was I pulled 10 cars full of beams, and beams are not the heaviest, you only get 3 per car, but that was a bit sketchy. It didn't quite make it to the top. I had to slightly adjust how the splines at the top had dealt with the height, because for some reason they had gone slightly steeper at the top before it flattened out, which I'm not quite sure how that works, but the game had done that anyway, so I had to adjust the splines to make it so that it could make it over the top. It did make it all the way, it was just very, very slow, which is not something I want to do again, so I don't want to be hauling too much. However, you don't ever have to haul these hoppers full, so we could fairly easily pull like 10 of these up, because you're hauling up the 4% empty, so that's not even that much weight. And the other side's 2.5%, so we just don't have to worry about it, because whatever we can do up here, we can also do up that. However, I don't have that much coal, and I don't think I need that much coal, because what you need the coal for is to put into the ironworks, and what the ironworks do is they create tools and steel beams. Now the tools you take to the oil field, and the steel beams go to both. The oil field also needs, I think it's lumber, or is it beams? One of the two. No, the oil field needs beams, and it then takes those 3 ingredients and gives you liquid oil, which you put in tankers, of which I don't have any yet, and then you take that to the refinery with some more steel beams and some lumber, and then it gives you oil barrels, which are the most valuable cargo in the game, and I definitely intend to start selling. However, tools have to go in a specific tool van. I don't have any of those, and then we need a bunch of tankers. Fortunately, somehow I have managed to make myself very rich. I don't know where all this money's come from, but I have 7,000 money, which is enough to buy the most expensive engines, including this. This is 5,500. It's very expensive. But even like the really big ones are not really anything more than this. So if I wanted to, I could buy some big fancy engines, or I could buy some oil tankers, and that's probably a more useful use of my money, because that way I can actually deliver the very expensive things. So that's what we're going to be doing this episode. We're going to be getting some oil and getting some oil barrels and making ridiculous amounts of money. It sort of goes over this little plateau bit here before going down another hill, so you have to put some reg on to get through there, and then you have to go and put the brakes on again as you go down this, because this is another steep bit. And here are the ironworks that we are just rolling into, and I need to check some switches. Hopefully I have time to run over, and make sure that the switches are the right way. Because the first time I did this, I forgot to switch this switch. Because, not that one. No, the other one. Switch the other one. Game, let me... Why am I not allowed to switch this switch? I'm trying to switch this one. Okay, that works, I guess. But anyway, I built this little siding over here. This is the main track that goes off to the junctions. This is just a little siding for me to park the hoppers in. And yeah, the first time I did it, I accidentally had the hoppers go in there, and then, well, I can't unload coal from them because they weren't in front of the coal platform. And the train has stopped because the brakes are better than I thought they were. So we'll just do a nice rolling unload because I don't want to stop the train. Hopefully it all fits in the platform. I did tie a brake to make sure that we don't overshoot it. But anyway, I want to just park all this in the siding so it's out of the way. And then we can teleport over to the freight depot and buy some cars, which we can pull around with today's other new train. Because, of course, I couldn't just buy one new train. I had to buy two. And game, what is your problem? Let me flick this. No, not that one. Let me flick this switch. And we can teleport back up to my main freight depot. And what are you doing here? Okay, apparently I just left it lying around. So this is the second engine. Well, technically it's the first one that I got this episode. And this is Gerard. I forgot to mention the other one, didn't I? The other one does have a name. Because all of my engines must have random, like, human names. This is Ashley the Heisler. And then this is Gerard. Gerard is the Class 48. And this thing is great. It looks small, because it is, but it has a lot of pulling power for its size. And what we're going to do, we're going to buy some stuff. We need a boxcar for the tools. You probably only need one of them because they take 24 each, which is a ridiculous amount. And then we're going to get a bunch of tankers. Well, I've hooked up 4 tankers and 1 boxcar, and it turns out the tankers are very heavy. They weigh 30,000 pounds empty, and I have no idea how much the actual oil itself will weigh. So this could be a challenging thing to pull. Hopefully the Class 48's extreme amount of power and attractive effort will mean that we'll be able to do it anyway, but it might not be as easy as it normally is. So this is the boxcar. I think we can open these, can't we? Yes, we can open these doors. Can we open them from the inside? No, but we can walk through them. These doors open, and then you put the tools in, I think. Not that I've actually used it myself. I assume you have to open these as well. Or maybe not. No? Okay, it doesn't look like it. No, we can just reverse this way, spin it around, and drive off to the South Valley, which we actually access by going off the back of the loop. So we sort of go around most of the way, and then we can zoom off and go down there. You may remember this bit of the loop. There's now some points which go off there, and we're going to continue around the loop to another set of points which also go off there, because I want to be driving forwards down there, not backwards. So we just have to keep going around here, and then this bit of track is where we want to go down. We just have to stop and spin it around, and then I'll probably just do a time lapse of me driving down to the points, because it's a long, uneventful journey. It's not actually that long in comparison to like the 1% to the iron mine route, but it still takes a little while. So we're just gonna have a nice little time lapse going down here. We then get to some points, and this is the first of 2 triangles. You can just sort of see it down that way. There's some points coming back over this way, and you can see it again over here. I'll just pop back into the actual train itself so we can get the better camera angles. But there's this big triangle here, which goes off to the oil field over there. We'll go there in a second, and it joins back on over here, and then it's immediately followed by another triangle, which goes off up to the refinery, which we will also go just after that. And I didn't check these points. I checked all the other points. I forgot that I'd been to the refinery recently. I took some pipes up there, and now I have to go and get these points again, because we don't want to go up there quite yet. You want to get the oil first. And just past this triangle is the iron mine. No, iron, not mine, ironworks, that's the word. So we're going to go around here, just past the sort of service station for the Heisler. It's got a sand house, because occasionally it needs sand. And here it is, still parked over here where I left it. Well, it's not going to have moved, is it? We can just zoom past, and as you can see, it's run out of lumber, because of course it has. It takes loads of that stuff. Fortunately, it's fairly easy to deliver. And we're going to go around the loop, and we're going to reverse onto this bit of track that you can see sticking out here. I don't know why I made it so long. It really does not need to be this long, but I made it a weird setup, which I think I actually did over at the oil field in a similar way, just because it's easier. It's sort of ish like a simplified version of what I have at the smelter, I guess, because there's a loop and then a bit coming off the inside of the loop. So we go round the loop to turn around, and then we can back into this and easily pick the stuff up. And now I just have to work out how we load this. So I've got the doors open. I assume I just spin this round and somehow it manages to teleport it in there. Did that work? Oh, it did. It's filling up with boxes. Now I just have to do this 23 more times. Woo, it's half full, and apparently it takes 32, not 24. So that means it needs me to press this even more times. This isn't tedious at all. And I would now like to have a word with whoever thought it was a good idea to have this in your game. But it is now loaded, full of many, many boxes. Fortunately, they're very light, and in fact, all 32 of them is only 3,200 kilos, because they're only 100 kilograms each, which means they're less than half the weight of the car itself. The box car is actually twice the weight of all of the boxes, and I should probably get the switches. So we're coming up to the bigger triangle, and we're just... What? Where's the box car gone? Where is it? Just noticed we don't have the box car. Where is the box car? Something happened to it. How did that happen? So now we just have to drive this over to the oil field, and we can deliver all the tools and pick up some oil in the tankers. And I don't know how the tankers work, because I've no idea how the oil works, because it's a liquid. So it probably just goes in weird droplets like everything else that's a liquid. But we go left at these points, and we go around the corner over here, and then we will arrive at the oil field. Now this place starts with a lot of the trees cleared, which is very helpful. I've already, as you can see, delivered it full of steel pipes and almost full of beams. But now I'm going to bring along an almost... Well, actually no, this is 32. It can take, I think, 100 tools, which is like 3 cars worth of them, and would take you a ridiculously long time, so that we can zoom off as soon as it's finished unloading. And now we have to go around the loop and park up next to this thing and see how it works. So I've stopped with these in front of these spouts, what they're called, chute/spout. Yes, it is definitely a chute/spout. So hopefully we can just point at this. This doesn't seem to have any way of opening, so we just have to hope it works. And we also just have to hope that this actually functions, because this does not seem lined up to me. Yeah, we're just going to see if that works. Now, can we load it from up here? Does it actually have to be pointing at it? Yes, it does. Okay, stop wasting oil. Ah, yes. Oil in weird form. So it turns out these are slightly annoyingly placed, that your train can't quite fit under 2 of them at once. we go, that's the train loaded. It also appears that you make quite a lot of oil and then don't use much of it, because each one that comes out into these is just one from here. Now we're on the train and we're heading up this way. We go on everything. We do have to haul it up a 1%. And we are carrying like over 200,000 pounds. Although I did haul quite a lot of beams up it, so hopefully we can make it. We do have a good chunk of tractive effort. That was no problem for the Class 48. Now you get to see what I mean about the inputs being in annoying places, because this is the oil one, and then your steel pipes go there, and then your lumber goes over there, and then the track I built to help deliver the lumber is just got some steel pipes clipping through it now, and I should have braked a lot earlier than that, because we are very heavy. But as you can see, I have 48 lumber and a lot of pipes. We're just gonna see how we deliver this oil. It's probably in the standard game way of little droplets come out like this, and somehow that works. Oh, we can fit 3 on this platform. So that's all the crude oil delivered, and it'll probably... Oh, it's already taken most of it. How much of this stuff have we used? Like 3 pipes and 8 lumber. And we've used all of the oil. Okay, turns out you need to take a lot of oil, because it takes a lot of oil, apparently. That is interesting. But we do now have barrels, and I don't know how these load, because this looks weird to me. I guess just instead of having a crane, there's just a ramp, and they magically roll down the ramp and onto your train. We have 40 barrels. That's not enough. We need more. I'm going to run another oil train, just so that we can actually fill up the train that I want to run next. I delivered another load of oil to the refinery, and now I've brought them back to my freight depot, and I'm going to grab a couple of these, because these are the ones that take oil barrels, and I don't think I'll be able to completely fill 2 of them, because apparently they take 46 barrels each, and with my 4 tankers I only get 40. So, yeah, I should probably run more tankers each time, because otherwise I'll be taking very small loads of barrels. We'll also go left here for once, so we can actually pick up the barrels. I've never actually driven on this little section of track here, because I've never picked up barrels before. Should be able to mostly fill up both of these, and I'm just going to have to assume that these sort of oil loading ramps work like cranes, just differently. I don't know. Should just be able to, what is it, you use this thing? It said drag right. Dragging right did not work. Okay, stop that. That does not work. That missed. I need to move the track closer. Thank you, game, for telling me that before I found out. That's so helpful. Now I have to redo this bit of track. So I've moved the track a lot closer. Hopefully it's not too close, because the train may hit it. Okay, nope, the train slightly clips through it, and it... Yeah, no, it's too close now, isn't it? Well, I've adjusted it again, and hopefully it works this time. So we should be able to, there we go, fit neatly in here without scraping it. Okay, so now we try again. There we go. Now then, can we do this? Yes, of course. Okay, don't do that. Barrels go flying if you do that. I tried speed loading. Can confirm, it works. Just not in the way you think it would. The barrels apparently clip together and have issues. So we're just gonna let it load itself normally. Why are the barrels rolling down the slope at a wonky angle? Game, do you mind? Oh, I can stand on the barrels. Can I run on top of barrels? Yes, I can. That's so funny. If you time it right, you can stand on the barrel and then you can walk onto the barrel. you can do like the cartoon thing of like running on a barrel. Okay, so the train is now loaded with 38 and 40 oil barrels, and they are surprisingly light. That's nice. How much does it say they weigh? Oh, 11,000. That is surprisingly little. Yeah, it's only 5,500 kilos. That is pretty useful. That means that I can haul lots of these, except that I will never get lots of these. Now, theoretically, I can make a stupid amount of money off this, because it's like 1,800 per fully loaded car. Now, obviously, these are not fully loaded, but I should still get over 1,500 per car, so I should still get like 3,000 of money just from these two. And I think oil itself is worth quite a bit as well, so I've earned quite a lot of money from that. But in comparison to the amount of money that you're getting in the early game, like each of these barrels is worth 40, I think, whereas an entire car of logs is worth 60. So like the money difference is quite a lot. I'm just on the way back, and I thought I haven't actually shown the interior of this thing. So this is interesting. There's supposed to be a lantern here, and you see we get this little flame from the lantern that doesn't exist. And then there's these doors which you can open, except you don't really need to go in here. There's nothing in this side. But over this side, we've got the cylinder cocks just on the floor where you can kick and trip over them. The sander over here, we've got the whistle up here, which apparently didn't make any sound. Why is it not being picked up? Wait, the game sound's not being picked up at all. Okay, rip this episode's game audio, it's apparently not being picked up. I don't know why. We have the regulator over here, and the reverser down here, the brake back there, and then the firebox is down here. And for some reason, the door opens the other way to like literally every other train. Yeah, I need to work out why the audio is not working, because I didn't notice that. So this whole episode will have no audio, and perhaps the other ones will as well. I don't know why. I'll get that sorted for the next episode. So we're coming into the freight depot now, and we're just going to go to this side because that's where the points were pointing. And then we can drop off these many expensive oil barrels and make a lot of money. So we're going to bring this up so you can see how much money we're going to make. Let me just set these unloading. Look at all the money. All the money. So much money. Getting loads of XP as well. I mean, I think you can get all the locomotives at level 6, and I reached that like before I connected up the whole southern side of the map, so it's not exactly a massive restriction. Your level, it doesn't really mean anything then, but I am making so much money. I'm over 10,000, and the final number for today is 11,206. Yeah, I can buy literally everything in the game. I was thinking of like upgrading from my monster to like a Eureka or a Glenbrook, but like I have so much money. Like the Climax and the Heisler are 5,650, then like the Mosca at 3,600, the Cook 260 at 4,300, the 280 at 4,900, and then the Giant Class 70 at 5,600. I can afford to buy like 2 of them, so I might just see if I can play the game of collect them all. Nice paint job on the 280. I'm just looking at the paints that you can get from them, because some of them don't have many options. Yeah, anyway, I'll do that for the next episode. I'll probably also redo my shunting yard for the next episode, because this system is kind of running out of space. But that's going to be it for this video, so thank you for watching. Don't get distracted, do subscribe now, and until next time, goodbye.